Hi, my name's Emily Stair. I work here at Longstool TBI. I work in physical therapy, and the purpose of this poorly made video is to just kind of explain what we do here. And pretty much I got tired of saying the same thing all over, so I figure I'll just do a video. So anyway, all right, so the first thing we're going to talk about are the 4 systems of balance. If you look over here at my high-speed visual, you can see that the brain is pretty important. Obviously, if we didn't have the brain, we wouldn't be doing anything. So that's the first system of balance we want to talk about. The second system of balance are eyeballs. Obviously, when we have our eyes and our vision works well, that is a huge thing with balance. And I don't know if you've seen Dr. Tina Aldana. She's the optometrist here at LRMC, but she'll be taking care of most of your eyeball issues. But eyes definitely have a role in vestibular physical therapy as well. So the next one is the vestibular system. A lot of people don't know about this one. Pretty much it's the inner ear. Like the outer ear helps collect the sound. The middle ear collects the sound, it's got the little bones, and the inner ear pretty much tells your head where your brain is in space. And one of the most common things that can happen after head injury is something called vestibular hypofunction, meaning that the inner ears kind of go into a hibernation mode. It's kind of like they get cranky and they just go take a nap. The good news about vestibular hypofunctioning is that it's responded to therapy. The bad news is that you have to do therapy to do that, but we'll talk about that later. All right, so the next system is what we call somatosensation. Essentially, that's the body-brain connection, all the nerves that connect your body to your brain. And then we need to talk about a special connection between your eyeballs, your inner ear, and your brain called the vestibular ocular reflex. I'm sure if you've noticed that when you feel dizzy, your eyes get a little blurry, and it's just a really tight connection between the eyes, the inner ear, and the brain. Yes, so pretty much dysfunction in the vestibular system can cause problems with the eyes. Dysfunction in the visual system can cause problems with the vestibular system. So there you go. The next thing we need to talk about is neuroplasticity. You will hear me say this word a lot. This is kind of like, I guess, the rallying cry for physical therapy. It's kind of like, if you work out your muscles, you have to lift weights. If you're going to run, you want to work out your heart and your lungs, and you want to run a marathon, you actually have to go run. Unfortunately, at this point, there's no magic cure for dizziness. There's no spell we can say. There's no pill we can give you. You just kind of have to go through the process of working on those systems of balance, okay? I don't know if you've ever seen anybody with like a stroke, or have you ever heard about people who've had epilepsy and half of their brain is removed. Mm-hmm. They kind of need to learn how to walk, learn how to feed themselves all over again, but they can do it even with their brain damage or the half of the brain removed, and that's because of neuroplasticity. The brain goes in and rewires itself, it sharpens the pathways that it has left, there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but essentially that the brain is adaptable. But the brain will only adapt if it's challenged. So that's why we can't be like, hey, systems of balance, get better on your own. It doesn't work. It's the same thing. You can't tell your muscle to be like, hey, come on, get strong. It's not going to work. You have to do the hard work, the lifting of the weights. You have to do the running, whatever your activity is. For vestibular therapy, how we do that is we actually challenge the systems of balance by making you feel dizzy. So it's kind of a crappy deal. Because most of the time you want to go to the doctor and you're like, oh, hey, I feel whatever, and they give you a pill and you're good to go. This is the kind of thing where you're going to feel dizzy. You come in feeling dizzy, and then I'm going to be like, hey, to help with your dizziness, we need to make you feel dizzy. It doesn't really make sense, but it's exposure therapy. It's kind of the same thing what people with PTSD do. They had to kind of go in with their therapist and kind of confront their fears, that kind of thing. We're not doing PTSD stuff here. We're just going to help you walk better and help your bodies work and your brains work better. So you will definitely probably feel worse before you start feeling better. You might hate me. That's pretty normal, but just remember, think of this as a long-term investment. We want to get you to the point where you can just go through your daily activities without feeling dizzy and unbalanced, and unfortunately, that takes some work. So, all right, so the next thing I want to talk about is functional activities. I've been asked before, what, and we'll talk in another video, we'll talk about, you know, the kind of therapies we do here, but why the treatment we do is not necessarily functional. So if you think about it, for the vestibular system, what's a functional activity? Like going on a roller coaster, being on a boat, you know, going on spinny rides with your kids, you know, riding in the car. We just can't do that many functional activities here just because we don't have them. We're limited to the TBI PT clinic, so we do as much as we can, but the good news is that the carryover effect is positive. So what we do here does transfer over into the functional activities, okay? So just because your treatment here isn't necessarily what you're doing in your everyday life, what gains you make with your treatment here does overflow into your everyday life. So one of the last things I want to talk about is the best thing you can do to get better is do your home exercise program. Like I said, there's no magic cure for dizziness or unbalancedness. You have to do the hard work. And if you need it, we'll bring you in for therapy. But the best thing you can do is your homework. And it's not going to be any more than 5 minutes a day. You know, if you do your homework, you're going to get faster. If you don't do your homework, let me back up. If you do your homework, you're going to get better faster. And if you don't do your homework, you're gonna plateau. So really, the onus is on you. The stuff we do in clinic is just to kind of expedite the healing process. But if you're not doing your homework every day, you know, you're gonna plateau. Finally, before we do the exam, we'll go through all your systems of balance. I'll talk you through that while we do it. But we're also gonna do. Let's go over here, Rosie. The neurocom. Oh, I don't care. We're going to do the neurocom. So this is the neurocom. It kind of looks like somebody on LSD did artwork and decided to put dizzy people in an elevator. I can't really explain it, but it's good science. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a harness on you, clip you in, and it's going to assess your balance under a couple different conditions. Eyes open, eyes closed, floor moving, floor not moving, walls not moving. At its worst, it might feel like you're on a boat ride. What the computer does is it takes your response time, compares it to people your age who haven't had any problems with dizziness or imbalances, and just tells us which system of balance we need to work on, whether it's more visual, more vestibular, or more somatosensation, all that kind of stuff. Then the last test we're going to do today is called the motor control test. Pretty much if I was going to push you, it's how quickly does your body maintain upright. I'm not going to push you. You're going to be harnessed and clipped in, and the floor is going to jerk. There'll be 3 small jerks back, 3 medium, 3 large, same thing going forward. Computer takes your response time, compares it to people your age who haven't had any head injuries, and just tells us how your reflexes are doing. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching.